It's a rainy July night in Baltimore County.
695 on the outer loop by Lock Raven and Providence.
Joseph Roberts is just a few minutes away from his girlfriend's house.
There was nobody at the intersection as I got there, nobody.
But then,
and I see headlights.
The car was involved in an accident.
And then all of a sudden, he's there and I'm there.
The driver behind the wheel is a Baltimore City Environmental Police officer who, according to this accident report, was on his way to offer backup to state police.
MSP is direct on it.
Who were short-staffed.
I know they were short already.
He didn't have a siren on.
The officer's Silverado was hardly damaged in the collision. Investigators deemed Joseph's car undrivable and called for a tow truck.
The police insisted that they tow the vehicle.
Joseph says the night of the crash, he was told it was the city officer who was at fault. An accident report we obtained also says that. Joseph thought everything would be taken care of by the city. And before long, his car would be picked up from the tow yard, repaired, and then returned.
I just want things to be taken care of, and that's that.
In the meantime,
that's all I was looking for.
He'd get to school and work by whatever means possible, even if that meant he'd have to walk.
It wasn't until a week later I was told that I was solely responsible for getting my car, and then by that point the tow was already at a point where I couldn't afford it.
And the longer Joseph's car sat at the tow yard, the bigger the bill became.
It was $411, $611, $1,475.
He says no one from the city would return his calls.
No one has cared. No one's tried to help.
As fear began to set in, little did Joseph know just how high the odds would be stacked against him.
And I don't know at the end of the day if I'll even be able to recover my vehicle.
Money earned at work went to hire an attorney.
I worked very hard, to get my car, and then I've only had it 4 months and it was taken away from me. It wasn't through anything I did.
Joseph didn't have full coverage insurance for his car, just liability. So had the accident been Joseph's fault, his insurance company would have stepped in. But remember, that wasn't the case. It's been more than a month.
And I've gotten no answers from anybody.
I can only imagine how difficult it is for a layperson going at it on their own.
David Ellen is a medical malpractice attorney. He's not involved in Joseph's case, but he has handled one similar to it.
Your paperwork falls into a black hole when you submit it to the city of Baltimore.
Ellen says the city has 6 months before it's even required to respond to a claim. But here's the real rub. After 30 days, if no one has paid to get a car off a tow yard's lot, the car becomes the lot's property.
The people at the tow lot, they won't even allow me to get my school books.
Since that interview, the clock ran out, and Joseph's car is gone. He's not getting it back because it belongs to the tow company. We sent a series of emails to the city's law department and the Department of Public Works, the agency the environmental police officer works for, to find out exactly how claims filed with the city are handled. It's information the city guards closely. We didn't get a straight answer, so we took our questions to the top. Public Works Director Rudy Chow sits on the city's spending board, which meets weekly.
I'm going to step in on this one.
Jeffrey Raymond is a DPW spokesman.
Accident involving one of the environmental police officers.
According to Raymond, the accident is out of the department's hands.
The county is investigating what happened. I mean, we can follow up after that, depending on what they find. Right now, we need to let the process play out.
But according to emails and records from the county, that process had played out. Its investigation closed weeks ago. As we continued to search for answers on our own, we found city policies that show within 24 hours of an accident that involves a city car or worker on city business, an internal accident report has to be filled out. The city considers the form so important, workers have to keep copies of them in their glove compartment at all times. We requested a copy of the reports workers filed over the last year, but the city denied our request. Without access to those records, it's difficult to know how often city workers are getting into accidents, how severe they are, and exactly what's happened to those who've been hit, like Joseph.
At the end of the day, I'm still responsible for the loan that I got to be able to get my car, and then now I'm paying the loan for a vehicle I don't even have.
In Baltimore County, Joy LaPola, Fox 45 News.